We have established before on this channel that a source of great pain for gamers is often a single pane of glass. Whether a window is regular or bulletproof, lots of games love to make you watch on powerless as a tragedy unfurls behind it. See? It happens all the time, and we can prove that by sharing even more of your examples. So get your glass cutters ready for 7 more tragedies you couldn't prevent because they happened behind glass, damn it! Beware spoilers for the following games.
BioShock is set in a big underwater city made almost entirely of glass, and full of examples of what we're talking about today, like this one from a previous video. Yeah, that one! Like its predecessor, BioShock 2 gave you, Subject Delta, aka the first Big Daddy, the chance to earn multiple endings. And one of the outcomes wasn't particularly great according to commentator Faye. How about BioShock 2? After going through the entire game, Eleanor suffocates Sophia Lamb just as you were about to rescue her because you were behind glass that, despite being a 7-foot killing machine wielding a power drill, you can't break. Oh man, I hate to say it was your fault, but it was your fault. If you play your cards right and save everyone, when you're escaping Rapture on the side of the big elevator, inside you'll see Eleanor save a drowning Sophia Lamb by shoving some breathing equipment over her nose.
Mother believed this world was irredeemable, but she was wrong, Father.
But failed to spare the life of at least one of the 3 main antagonists, while also harvesting any of the little sisters you come across, and you open yourself up to the possibility of a much darker scene. Instead, you'll watch on helplessly as Eleanor grabs Sophia by the ankles and speeds up the drowning process.
You showed me that my survival, my joy, are all that matter.
You'd sadly already sealed Sophia's fate much earlier in the game, and so now, as Faye notes, you can do nothing but look on helplessly from behind a sealed window. Look, on one hand, I know this glass is going to be super tough to deal with the high water pressures at the bottom of the sea, but on the other hand, is a big drill.
We need to be getting the hell off this ship! We're not leaving Ishi! Not if there's any chance we can save him. Okay. Doc thinks we can do something.
Bulletstorm is a sci-fi game that asks the question, what if kicking? That if kicking. Kicking your problems isn't the only way to win in this lurid action shooter, but it's certainly your way. Whether it's kicking enemies acrobatically into the air,
I need that energy cell!
or kicking wreckage out of your path, or kicking open a busted door.
Shoot it!
Oh yeah, shooting is also a solution. The concepts of kicking, shooting, and indeed using a leash device to rip objects or enemies into your line of fire are all ideas introduced in the opening act of Bulletstorm, a curtain raiser that makes it clear that with the tools at your disposal, no obstacle can possibly stand before you. No obstacle, that is, except a single pane of glass, as commenter Juan Munoz recalls. What about Bulletstorm, where Doc dies while healing Ishi? Dear sweet Ishi does indeed require healing, having been badly hurt in an explosion shortly after the game starts. But Doc reckons Ishi can be potentially patched up, despite having been medically squashed.
Look at him, Gray. Half his body is crushed. At least try. He'd do it for any one of us. Maybe I could, but I'd need a charged fusion cell to power the bioweld.
Power source acquired, Doc kicks you all out, but don't worry, this surgery has an observation window.
Now get out. Gotta bioweld millions of neurotransmitters. Get!
Procedure in progress. Sterilization is deployed.
Sound of it, they're almost in. Doc, you gotta hurry. We might be looking at visitors.
Unfortunately, the sealed medical environment is indeed compromised, and oh dear, I don't believe this fellow is scrubbed in.
Get out!
Procedure in progress.
No!
We will avenge you, Doc! Just as soon as your killer steps out from behind that glass, that's obviously a deal breaker.
Authorization: Olivia Pierce. Alpha 402.
In 2016's Doom, you play Doom Guy, an extremely strong and capable fighter who can do things like this to big horrible demons. Yeah, don't think they're getting up from that one. So when high-ranking researcher of the Union Aerospace Corporation, Olivia Pierce, wants to worsen the damage she has already caused, the game has to stop Doom Guy getting to her, as commenter Hunter Trax found out. No Doom 2016? If not for that damned impenetrable glass, the gates to hell would never have been opened. Yes, upon finally tracking down Olivia Pierce, you cannot get to her, watching helplessly as she slowly but surely makes your life immensely harder by playing with portals.
She is trying to tear open the portal between our world and theirs.
Yeah, that's going to mean more demons, isn't it? Yeah. And that's not the only time glass keeps Olivia safe from Doom Guy's skull-crushing grasp, as pointed out by commenter Novaseer. You end up not being able to kill Olivia Pierce as you see her board an elevator to the top of the Argent Tower, through a glass window. Damn it, Doom Guy, just use the Berserk power-up! Indeed, later on in the game, Olivia is still trying to open up portals to hell, and yet another pane of glass keeps her just out of your reach.
That's an Argent accumulator she's carrying. She'll try to use it to open a portal manually into hell.
Oh my god, this is so frustrating! I bet Olivia's going to be so easy when you finally get to confront her. Okay, does anyone have a strong pane of glass that I can hide behind?
Wow, this explains the U-boat in the Amazon.
Nate, come here, look at this.
Video game storytelling is hard work. I mean, take Uncharted. Here you have a hero, Nathan Drake, who has the charisma, the upper body strength, and indeed the luck to escape even the most desperate of situations, entirely unscathed, and with a cheeky grin to spare. It's great fun to play as Nathan Drake, but if you're developer Naughty Dog, how on earth do you convince the player that there is any situation this most sly of foxes couldn't turn to their advantage and wriggle out of with a combination of wit, bravado and grenades? By putting him behind a pane of glass? Be serious, this is Nate we're talking about. We're gonna need 2 panes of glass.
Can you hear me in there?
Loud and clear, jackass.
Oh, no microphone on your end. What a shame.
Nate, get out of there before.
Elena!
This is the awful situation in the first Uncharted game when Nate's exploration of an abandoned World War II bunker is cut short by the sinister Roman and Navarro capturing his reporter pal Elena, as commenter Calicat remembers only too clearly. Don't forget about Uncharted. You get to listen to Navarro gloat while you palm slap some glass. There is indeed nothing that Nate can, or even tries to do about Elena's capture. And to be fair, with Navarro pointing a pistol right at Elena, any such attempt would be foolhardy. But it's fun that these are the lengths Naughty Dog has to go to concoct a situation in which you, the player, believe Nate is helpless. I mean, Elena probably doesn't think it's so fun, but she'll know there was nothing Nate could do. She understands the sanctity of video game glass.
Found a way out.
Nate, you have to marry this woman.
The opening of Transformers Fall of Cybertron can be summed up in one word. That word is ah! More of a noise, really. This game has so much going on that you could miss it, but eagle-eyed commenter Centurion Raider 0510 spotted a Decepticon do something awful just out of reach. If you've ever played Fall of Cybertron, there was that one part where Starscream brutally murders all those Autobot soldiers, while you, Optimus Prime, cannot overcome the power of glass. As you run through the Autobot spacecraft, Optimus Prime shows how powerful he can be, shooting down Decepticon soldiers, smashing through barriers in vehicle form, and shooting down barriers in bot form. But turns out the glass on board this spaceship is somewhat more durable than all those metal barriers. When you get to these windows, you cannot save these Autobots on the other side from their demise at the hands of the Decepticons.
Shoot it!
Oh god, that was awful! Good thing it doesn't get any worse than that.
Actually, it does.
Oh wait, it does? Yep, turn the corner and through another window you'll see, well, this horrible tableau.
Starscream is... Yeah!
Oh dang! Did Starscream just stab that Autobot in the neck? Man, that's dark. I remember the innocent days when this series was just about selling plastic crap to impressionable children. Better times.
Prototype 2 is one of the only stealth games where you also start with the power to punch a tank apart. In fact, the only other one is Prototype 1. The reason for this odd mix of genres is that in both prototypes you play as characters infected with a fantastical virus. A virus that gives you the immense biomorphing powers to consume anyone to recover health, wipe out swathes of soldiers with your outlandish powers, then take the form of an ordinary civilian to fool the authorities and make your escape. Hey, authorities, it's the guy in the beanie hat leaping over whole buildings. Just FYI. Truth be told, this is just one of several aspects of Prototype 2 that plays fast and loose with the idea of making sense. And that's absolutely fine, it's not that kind of game. But this very loose adherence to any form of logic also leaves Prototype 2 vulnerable to gaming's weirdest trope, that thing where you can't stop a tragedy because, glass is there. As commenter SuperDude2411 remembers, there was a moment near the end of Prototype 2 where you, James Heller, an enormous virally enhanced man who can tear tanks in half with his hands, helplessly stands by as his daughter is kidnapped behind a single pane of glass. SuperDude2411 is right on the money. This moment occurs when James's daughter Maya falls into the mutant hands of Sabrina Galloway, and despite his immense strength and nearly limitless abilities, is helpless to stop Sabrina making off with Maya.
Baby.
Dad, you should have known, Heller. If you're not with me, you are against me. Don't keep Alex waiting.
This in itself is a little confusing, but not nearly as baffling as how this scene plays out. Perhaps developers Radical Entertainment thought if they made it black and white and edited everything to happen very fast, we wouldn't notice how weird it is that Sabrina, having captured Maya on the other side of the glass, bounces a grenade off of her side of the window.
Don't keep Alex waiting.
Seems like a great way to blow up Maya. Can we go back to the bits where we punch everyone?
My convoy team and I were imprisoned at the same location. We had been captured uninfected, so we were put in makeshift pens until they could infect us.
Resistance Fall of Man is set in an alternate history where World War II didn't happen. Not because of peace winning out, but because bug aliens called the Chimera killed most of the planet before it could start. Sounds cheerful? This is a pretty dark game, so of course it also makes your character watch on helplessly as people get murdered by alien space bugs, as Luis Munoz shared with us. Resistance Fall of Man. You and a few unlucky soldiers barely escape the clutches of death, only to watch them die to a horde of flying insect-like aliens. After being captured and shoved into a Chimeran conversion centre in Grimsby of all places, your hero Sergeant Nathan Hale manages to escape his containment chamber after these fools leave the door open. But not all the captured soldiers are so lucky. Moments later, Sergeant Hale comes across two British soldiers trapped and in need of assistance.
Oi, mate! Over here! Over here!
Unfortunately, having had his door left open for escape, Sergeant Hale has no idea how to open one himself or do anything else remotely useful in this situation. So he watches on with a grimace as the men get eaten by space bugs.
Get us the hell out of there!
Oh god, somehow not having to see it seems worse. If only someone had been there to help stop those bugs from getting in the first place.
Hey! Over here! The console! Shoot the console! Bloody hell!
Yeah, I could have done with that advice 30 seconds ago. Those poor souls died in Grimsby. Grimsby!
Oh, you jammed it.
Hooray, we got to do it again! Even more tragedies you couldn't prevent because they happened behind glass. Our favourite video game trope. Can you think of any more examples? I bet you can. Dredge them up from your memories, folks, because I want to do this video 4, 5, 6, 7. I won't stop until we've done it a dozen times. 12 times 7, that's who knows how many times. If you enjoyed this, why not watch some of these other videos? And you can also subscribe to Outside Xtra if you want, and if you really enjoy the work we do and want to go the extra optional mile in supporting us, then you can sign up to our Patreon at patreon.com/oxclub. All right, thanks for watching. Goodbye. I knew she had to do the glass bit. She had to do it. She had to do the glass bit.